Good evening, Fernwood. My name's Neil. Come on in, set yourself down. Let's watch some Mary Hartman. Mary Hartman, the subversive 70s soap opera. We are heading into April 21st, 1976's episode. So let's do a little bit of recapping of yesterday's. It started with some real talk from Martha to Kathy about the difference between being married and having a wedding. Of course, Kathy is definitely as intent as ever to get married to Dennis Foley, the philandering. Well, we'll talk more about him later, I figure. Then we see Mary come over to the Shumways because she is worried Tom has not come home, and she spends a lot of time trying to figure out where he is, while Kathy is just mad because Mary's been trying to get in her business by trying to stop the wedding to Dennis. At home, Mary, of course, is still mostly just concerned about Tom. In fact, not mostly, entirely concerned with Tom. Of course, just like everyone else in the family, Heather is of no use when it comes to consolation. Then Dennis comes over and tries to firm up a date that Mary and he had. I believe the plan was for Mary and Dennis to go on a date to potentially shore off a wedding between Dennis and Kathy. Well, we know that Dennis has been obsessed with Mary for quite a long time. Of course, over at Dennis's apartment, Kathy unlocks the door to find Roberta Wallachek. They have a little bit of a face-off until Dennis shows up, and then he manipulates each of them into kind of staying in his life, even though they definitely should not be putting up with him just getting everything he wants without them getting exactly what they want. Well, let's just say the wedding is maybe on pause, depending on what happens on Thursday. I'm not sure if that means Thursday this week as we count the weeks, or Thursday at some vague point in the future. It could be this episode for all I know, even though today is Wednesday. Well, anyway, that's where we stand with Dennis and the various relationships that are going on. At home again, then Mary is basically just watching the clock, waiting, because she has no clue where to look for Tom. Tom walks in, bloodied and beaten, and they have a tender moment as Mary cleans him up. That's my recap of the April 20th, 1976 episode. Let us get buckled in to start April 21st, 1976's episode of Mary Hartman.
Tom, we have to call the police before we all get murdered in our beds because it's going to be too late then. Of course, you don't have that much to lose the way you look.
Look, Mary, look, I'm trying to tell you, the police are not going to be any help.
Tom, of course they are. They're here to serve and protect. Don't you read bumper stickers?
Yeah, they're here to serve and protect those people who pay them off, like the Union Brass. You can be sure they got the police right in their hip pocket.
Tom, we have got to support our local police. But how can we support them if you won't let your wife make a phone call to call them to ask them to protect us? Here, use a napkin to fix your nose.
I'm going to protect our family. I'll do it.
Tom, look, there is crime in the streets, right? I mean, you read it every day in the newspapers, right? So we need protective support. I mean, we need help. We need to make things better. The police can help us make things better,
Well, I
right?
am fighting union corruption to make things better. Don't ever forget it.
Tom, if you are blown up into little pieces, it is going to be practically possible for you to make things better. Now stay out of the union and don't get involved. Is that it for your eyes? They don't open any more than that?
This eye's bad. This one's all right. Listen, I wouldn't calling the police be getting involved, wouldn't it?
It's different.
How is it different?
It's different because they're here to serve and protect. I can't serve and protect. You can't serve and protect. We need somebody who can serve and protect. Who else can we rely on? The police.
All right, Mary, it's no good. Let me tell you why. Do you realize that 87% of all crimes are never solved?
Tom, that's exactly why there is no harm in reporting one more. I am going to call the police. You want to hear something amazing? I am getting stronger. Do you realize that? I can feel that I am getting these tremendous tremendous reserves of strength, and I think it's because you've been hurt. Isn't that terrible?
Why is it terrible?
Well, I think it's remarkable, but I mean, I think it's terrible that I'm getting strength from such a terrible thing. I mean, Tom, you should see yourself. I mean, you look repulsive. Unless this is just a natural thing, I don't know, like a lioness with her cubs or something like that.
Her cubs? Is that how you think of me, as one of your cubs?
Oh, no, that's just a figure of speech. I mean, I feel this protective instinct.
Well, I'll do the protected around here, Mary. I will do it. I'm gonna do it.
Well, okay, Tom, the police should do that!
The police can't do it, Mary. Okay, I'll tell you what. All right,
What?
I'll agree to that. If you cut out all this cub stuff, okay?
Okay, I'll cut it. You are not one of my cubs, okay?
Okay.
You
Go ahead.
look like one of my cubs. Your mouth does not seem to be working properly. I mean, not that it matters to me. It's just that it must be so humiliating for you. Hello? Loretta! Where are you? Oh, then you'll be home tomorrow? Wonderful. Is everything all right? Yes, I know. I saw the show. Oh, and I saw you on the news, too. I saw everything. Well, we can talk about it when you get home. Oh, everything's fine here. I mean, the thing is, I really can't talk now because Tom has a defective face and nose, and I'm just hoping that it won't affect our relationship. I mean, what happened was that he got beat up by two guerrillas from the Union. They're going to throw a bomb in the house, but otherwise everything's going quite smoothly here. And, I'll see you tomorrow, okay? Loretta, just one thing for 1 second, okay? Guys? Let me explain to you what Tom's face looks like. Have you ever seen... Oh, I'm sorry, you 3 minutes are up. Oh, no, there's nothing to worry about. You just give my love to Charlie. Okay, bye. Bye. That was Loretta. They're coming home tomorrow.
Good. They love animals. Maybe they can take one of your cubs. Don't make me laugh.
You look terrible. I feel terrible.
I'm sorry. Forget I said that, okay?
Oh, no, I just meant I feel terrible about Loretta. I mean, her entire career is ruined. Just like ruined. I mean, everything all at once. I mean, she's my best friend. It was like her career, it was like it was my career. And it's like, she's lost all that. I've lost all that. It's like I have nothing now. I mean, what do I have? I have a sister who's going into a loveless marriage. And I have a daughter who barely even speaks to me. And I have a husband with a defective face.
Just a minute ago, you said you were feeling strong.
I know, but you know something?
What?
I think that strong people have to get their strength from somewhere, right?
Yeah.
I lost it.
You did?
Would you call the police?
I don't want to call the police. I mean, really, it's useless. Just believe me when I tell you, it's just going to make for more trouble.
Okay. I will call the police.
Hi there.
Hi.
I hope I haven't kept you waiting.
I just got here myself.
Well, you'll love the food. Should I get a menu?
Oh, Dennis, I don't feel very much like eating.
Okay, how about a glass of wine? Okay. Waiter? Glass of red house wine, lady, and nothing for me, thank you. I can't drink. I have to be on duty in an hour.
You said you had something you wanted to talk to me about.
Yes. Roberta, it's very important to me that we continue our relationship.
But you said you were going to marry Kathy.
Yes.
Are you?
Yes.
Well, I don't see how we can continue our relationship.
Why not?
Are you asking me to be your mistress?
No.
Then what?
I want you to be part of my marriage.
Dennis, I don't think I understand.
I want an open marriage.
An open marriage?
Yes, I'll be married to Kathy, but our relationship will continue unchanged.
Dennis, what are you talking about?
Look, you love the time you spend with me, don't you?
Well, yes, of course, you know I do.
Okay. Oh, just... Well, that's much too sweet. It's too sweet.
But it's the housewife.
Yeah, I'm sure, but still too sweet. Let us have a glass of the house white.
Very good, sir.
Where was I?
You asked me, did I love the time we spent together? And I said, yes, of course, you know I do.
I love the time I spent with you.
Oh, Dennis, do you?
Yes, so much so that I don't want to give you up.
But if you're getting married...
Roberta, some of you is better than none of you. Can you understand that?
I suppose.
Okay. Now, there is a problem.
What?
Why Kathy?
Oh, Dennis, I'm so glad you asked that question.
Are you?
Yes.
Why?
Well, it brings up a very important point. I mean, let me just think how I can put this. Just let me ask you a question. Why Kathy?
It's very simple. I look at you. I look at Kathy. And I ask myself, I've been standing much too long. It's like vinegar.
But it's the housewife.
I'll tell the chef it'll be excellent on salad. Where was I?
You were asking yourself a question.
Oh, yes. I look at you. I look at Kathy and I ask myself, which one of these is truly the woman of strength, of inner strength? Which one of these women has the maturity, the solidity that is the hallmark of a full human being? And that's you, Roberta. You please me in that way.
Thank you, Dennis.
Now, see, Kathy doesn't have that understanding. What Kathy has is... I don't know how to explain it. It's a certain delight she takes in life.
I understand that.
Good. I'm glad.
But there's still something I don't understand.
What?
Why not marry me instead of Kathy if you like us both the same?
Isn't that obvious?
No, Dennis, I'm afraid it's not.
I was hoping it would be.
Would be what?
Would be obvious. Because I don't have an explanation, Roberta. Can you understand that?
Yes and no.
That's the way I feel about it. You are the most wonderful person.
I know that, Dennis.
I want you to know we are going to be happy in our open marriage. Very, very, very happy. Ah. Perfect.
Thank you, sir. It's the housewife.
Hello, Bina? Muriel. Things are going great. Looks like I'm going to squeeze some real money out of these Zirkles.
Are they back from Hollywood yet?
No, but just as soon as they get back, make sure the kid's got his little Timmy routine ready. Make sure he's a good little actor. because it looks like there's going to be some big bucks in this one.
How big?
How the hell should I know? Whatever they got left. And let me tell you, it's been a real drag hanging around in this burg, so get that kid set tonight.
He's already set. Now relax. Just give me a call when you're ready.
Okay, hon. You've been a real sweetheart, Bina. I'll talk to you later.
Later.
Bye.
Hello, is Loretta here?
No, they're out of town.
Oh, they're not back yet.
No.
Are you a friend of theirs?
Yes.
I'm Clyde Muncie. Maybe you heard Loretta mention me.
Oh, yes. You're the man who arranged for Loretta to make all that dear lovely money.
Well, yes.
Well, come on in and sit down, Mr. Muncie. Is there anything I can do for you?
No, not really, no. Well, maybe there is.
Well, what? By the way, I'm Muriel Haggers.
Haggers. Oh, are you a relative?
Very close one.
Oh, well, that's good. Maybe you could give them a message for me when they get back. You gonna be here?
Oh, sure, I'm taking care of the house for them.
I see.
But what about the message, Mr. Muncie? Does it have anything to do with business? I'm sure you and Loretta are going to be very busy with all that money coming in.
Oh, that's kind of what the message is about.
Yeah?
You see, I got some good news and some bad news.
Oh.
The good news is in this little envelope here. It's a royalty check on Loretta's record.
Oh, I guess it must be for a really big sum of money, huh?
Well, actually, it's $5,000 and some dollars.
$5,000. Oh, that child is going to be so happy.
Well, maybe.
Well, why wouldn't Loretta be happy?
Well, like I said, I got good news and bad news. And I sure am glad you're here to give her the bad news, you know, you being part of the family and all.
What's wrong, Mr. Muncie?
Well, this $5,000 check is the last one she's gonna get.
But I thought she was just starting to be a big, famous, rich, successful star.
Looks like her career has come to a crashing halt.
But why?
On account of that boner she pulled on that TV show.
You mean what she said about the Jews?
Yeah, so she's prejudiced. But you don't do prejudice on TV. Look what happened. I mean, her record sales have dropped to practically zero. So the record company has decided to cancel her new album, records, personal appearances, everything. No, her career is over and done with. Well, it's all right here in this letter from my brother. He's with the record company.
So, $5,000 is all she's gonna get?
Well, maybe a few dollars more, but I doubt it. I'm sorry. But that's the way it is. Well, I better be running along. Make sure Loretta gets those envelopes, huh?
Oh, I will.
Thank you. Night.
Night, Mr. Muncie.
Maybe I better heat it. You want a snack?
Yeah, maybe I'll have a snack, yeah. You know that Sergeant Fuller? Thanks.
Yeah,
Yeah, maybe you can do it.
I do.
Yeah, that Sergeant Fuller probably take the report, huh?
No, he's off duty today. I spoke to somebody else there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's gonna think we're a bunch of nuts, you know, when we get next to him. Only police matters, you know? Anyway, the police can't help with anything anyway. They can't, right?
I know, Tom, I gotta tell you something. We have got to stop living in terror like this. I mean, crime belongs in the streets where it belongs, not in the kitchen where it doesn't belong. Oh my God, do you think that's already the bomber?
Hey, look, relax, will you? Nobody's gonna bomb us. Wait a minute. Who is it? Police.
Now, do you see how fast they are? From now on, you better trust bumper stickers.
Hi, Mary. Hello, Tom.
I thought you were off duty.
I just came on. I saw the report on your telephone call, and I thought I'd handle it myself, since we're almost family.
You know, Mary shouldn't have called the police, you know. I mean, you know how women are.
Tom, that is a very male chauvinist remark.
Why, what did I say?
You're implying that women are more afraid than men.
Well, aren't they?
Well, there's no question about it. But I don't see any reason to bring sex into this. I mean, look at you. You've been punched up in the face, and who knows, at any minute a bomb could explode in this house.
Why don't you let me have a description?
No, wait a minute. Listen, I don't want the police listening to this, not at all.
Why not?
Well, because, I mean, you know, for one thing, you guys won't be able to find the jokers that beat up on you. You know? I mean, from what I can gather, you guys would have trouble finding an elephant in the backseat of a Volkswagen. Oh, it hurts when I laugh.
Tom,
That's no offense intended, though.
Tom,
What?
that is in no way to support your local police.
Where did this happen, and what did these men who assaulted you look like?
Look, I told you, I didn't get a good look at him. I didn't.
Tom, come on now. They were hitting you in the face. It means they were standing right in front of you. If they were standing in front of you, hitting you in the face, you had to see them.
Mary, this is just a waste of time now. Come on.
Really? Oh, is it a waste of time if your family get demolished in their beds? Am I right, Sergeant? I mean, should he be telling this to the police or not?
Look, sometimes it's better for a man not to tell the police anything, you know?
Do you believe in democracy?
Mary, what in the hell does this have to do with democracy?
Well, I'm not sure, but I know this, that in democracy, you get freedom of speech, which means that you are free to speak to the police. Is he undermining the First Amendment? Tom, just tell him what he looked like.
Honey, I don't know what the guys look like.
You know what Ed McCullough looks like.
What?
Tell him what Ed McCullough looks
Honey,
like.
Ed McCullough doesn't have nothing to do with this.
How do you know?
Look, I don't want the police listening on this, you understand? I don't want to talk about it now. Look, I'm going to bed. Right.
Night. I guess that's that.
Aren't you going to take any notes? You know, in Item 12, they take a lot of notes.
We can't prosecute if the victim doesn't press charges. Well, I'll be going back to work. I'll see you soon.
Soon, what does it mean soon? I mean, when you say soon, what do you mean by soon?
Thursday? Remember Thursday? My day off. My apartment. Thursday.
I'll have to think about that.
I think about it all the time. It's a lovely thought.
Here I am holding my breath. And this one is, and this episode is coming back from the beating that Tom received and Mary's response to it. And I feel like I don't really know Tom's point of view as regards the police or why he's trying to keep them out of the situation. He may have some reason. Maybe he's been told that if the police are called, that something would escalate. I can see Mary's point of view there in terms of someone should help fix because things are already getting dangerous. I guess I'd want to see Tom's point of view a little bit more so I can understand what's going on in that specific situation. Then there's Dennis and Roberta, and this is the first mention we have of anything polygamous going on, first verbal mention of it. I feel like if this is where the relationship had started, or the relationships had started, I don't know how to consider. There's a one-on-one relationship with another one-on-one relationship. There are relationships. So that's how I will count it. If you know more about polygamy than I do, go ahead and correct me. But for now, that's what I'm going to say. The relationships had started on this kind of foot with discussion and communication and clear boundaries being set, which actually they aren't really set in this case. It would be quite a different thing. But Dennis has definitely had a relationship with one person and a relationship with another person. And now that he's caught, he's trying to still get what he's been having. Meanwhile, I'll get to Dennis later because, I hate that guy. Then, what was the scene that happened in between? I just forgot. Oh, yes. And then there's the scene with Muriel and Clyde. Well, actually, before that, it's Muriel and her friend. I've forgotten her friend's name. But that's the first person of color at all, not to mention black person, I've seen acting on this show in 16 weeks. So, hey, there we go. Of course, this person is a scam artist. And Timmy is not a real son, a real child. I was going to say not a real child. But Timmy is probably a real child, but definitely not Charlie and Muriel's son. So that's a full-on scam. And then Clyde comes in to confirm that Loretta's career is down the drain, and the last $5,000 check that they just received, well, that's it. We already talked a bit about cancel culture, and I feel like I don't want to talk about that right now. This is really more about Muriel wanting to take advantage of the situation, and well, Loretta and Charlie's dreams are gonna have a big change to come. And I also note the use of the word prejudice as I remember it being used in childhood. I think nowadays we kind of the public sphere has used the word racism as a blanket term. White supremacy is something that is a phrase that is being used now as another blanket term, and I feel like Loretta isn't necessarily prejudiced, meaning that she is prejudging people before she talks to them. She doesn't say, no, you can't be with me. She's like, oh, you're kind to me. That's great. She has some beliefs that definitely play into what we now call white supremacy. Maybe not so strongly, but she's saying things that are anti-Semitic. I guess we have a lot of discussion there, but that wasn't an active part of the show. It was just because Clyde mentioned the word prejudice. As I mentioned, that was the blanket term that was being used. Nowadays, we talk about racism, we talk about white supremacy. People don't really use the word bigotry now, and I feel like that might help some of the confusion that people are having with the word racism, because people always or people knee-jerk react to the word racism when what they are really reacting to is the act of bigotry, which, or not the act of bigotry, but acts of bigotry. Well, I'm not that smart, so if you have more thoughts about that, go ahead and share them. But I'm gonna move on to that awful, awful Dennis, who came in, who wasn't even on duty at the start, but came in to address Tom's situation. Tom wanted nothing to do with it. And then we see Dennis pushing in on Mary. And what I feel is happening here is closer to what I feel about Dennis when he was getting vaguely coercive. Well, I was talking about potentially sexual assault, but there wasn't any physical thing going on that Dennis pushed. I mean, some kisses. That could be sexual assault, but that wasn't what I was reacting to because Mary would kiss back. What I was reacting to is the behavior he had toward Mary in those episodes months ago. And this is the thing. He's pushing and pushing and pushing for things that he wants without any real concern for what anyone else wants. And this is my main dislike is, sure, you're a decent looking guy and people seem to find you attractive. There definitely is interest from all of the parties that he's pushing in on, and it's not even tied into the policing aspect because I don't think he's saying that he wouldn't deal with the police situation that's going on, the criminal situation that's happening in Tom and Mary's life. He's not saying that he won't do that. But, since he's there anyway, he's going to say, hey, I really, really want to do this thing with you on Thursday. And that is gross. That is just straight up gross. And I believe that it's intended to show as gross. It reads as gross to me personally as a viewer. And I think it probably read as gross to someone who was watching this newly in the 1970s. It's just gross. So that's my daily intake of grossness. Thanks for coming and watching the grossness with me. That was April 21st, 1976's episode of Mary Hartman. Mary Hartman, thank you for sitting down with me, and we will see you tomorrow night in Fernwood.